¿Qué lo que mi gente? Welcome back to my channel and to another Music of the Americas video. For today, we'll be talking about the history of Perico Ripiao or Merengue Típico. Perico Ripiao is a musical genre of the Dominican Republic and is the oldest style of merengue. Merengue Típico is a term preferred by most musicians as it is more respectable and emphasizes the music's traditional nature. The instruments that are used are the accordion, bass guitar, guira, conga, and tambora. The origins of Perico Ripiao date all the way back to the 1840s to 50s. The earliest documented evidence of merengue in the Dominican Republic are newspaper articles complaining about this lascivious dance displacement of the earlier tumba. It is said to have originated in the rural city of Navarrete, located in the Northern Valley region around the city of Santiago called the Cibao, resulting in the term merengue cibaeño. It was originally played on the middle scraper called la guira, the tambora, and the guitar. Stringed instruments were eventually replaced with the two-row diatonic button accordions when Germans began to travel to the island in the 1880s as part of the tobacco trade. Later, the marimbula, a bass lamellophone related to the African mbira, was added to fill out the sound. Merengue Típico is very popular not only in the Dominican Republic but has migrated to the United States and many other countries as well. One of the most important figures in early merengue was Francisco Ñico Lora, born in Navarrete in 1880. He is often credited for quickly popularizing the accordion at the turn of the 20th century. Lora was once asked how many merengues he had composed in his lifetime, and he answered thousands, many of which are still a standard parts of Tipico repertoire. He was a skilled improviser who could compose songs on the spot and by request. He was also likened to a journalist, since in his pre-composed songs, he commented on everything with his accordion. His compositions discussed current events such as Cuban independence, World War I, the arrival of the airplane, and the U.S. occupation of the DR. Among Lora's contemporaries are Toño Abreu and Hipólito Martínez, best remembered for the merengue Caña Brava.
Ese es Ñico Lora. Esa es su vida. Ordeñar con sus dedos el canto rústico de un pueblo. Y de esos mismos dedos han surgido cientos de merengues que hoy dan la vuelta al mundo en vestiduras finas y hablando acentos extraños. Para él, eso no es nada. Su vida sigue siendo cantar su pueblo y acariciar la tierra entre sus manos.
Up until the 1930s, the music was considered immoral. Perico Ripiao, which literally means ripped parrot, is said to have been the name of a brothel in Santiago where the music was played. Moralists tried to ban the music and the provocative dance that accompanied it, but with little success. Merengue experienced a sudden elevation of status when dictator Rafael Trujillo came to power in 1930. Being himself of humble origins, he decided that this music should be the Dominican national symbol, in part simply to spite the upper class that had formerly rejected him. He used Perico Ripiao bands during his campaign and soon had it playing on the new medium of radio. Now that it was being heard in urban middle-class living rooms, it was only a short step from there to the ballroom. This transition paved the way for the next major innovation in the genre, big bands. Another pioneer of Perico Ripiao is Dionisio Mejia, known as Guandulito for his green eyes. Mejia was born on March 23, 1911 in Higüey. When he was 7 years old, he went to La Romana to live with his uncle, who was a seasoned accordion player. Guandulito learned to play accordion under his uncle's tutelage, and by the age of 13 was performing frequently for local parties. As with many musicians of his generation, Guandulito wrote songs in honor of Dominican President Rafael Trujillo. According to Guandulito himself, his merengues were so popular that Trujillo promised to buy him a house. But when the time came for the house to be delivered, Trujillo was murdered and his promise unfulfilled.
Ay, la mujer y ahora tienen un refrán. Quieren que le den no quieren dar.
Trio Reynoso, also known as the Kings of Merengue Típico, are considered to be one of the best musical groups of Perico Ripiao. The group consisted of singer accordionist Pedro Reynoso, percussionist Francisco Esquea, guitar player Domingo Reynoso, and marimbero/guirero Milciades Hernandez. They were considered the most popular group during the Trujillo and post-Trujillo era. They became well known in other parts of Latin America as well, such as in Cuba and Puerto Rico.
Juanita Morel, oye tu merengue, Juanita Morel, oye tu merengue, entre las mujeres tú eres mi derriengue, entre las mujeres tú eres mi derriengue. Lo la la, y lo la, lo la, y lo la, entre las mujeres tú eres mi derriengue, entre las mujeres tú eres mi derriengue.
After Trujillo's assassination, Dominican society changed rapidly as processes of urbanization and migration accelerated. Merengue Típico also changed. Through the efforts of artists like El Cieguito de Nagua, and particularly Tatico Henriquez, the music became faster and more technically demanding while incorporating new instruments. They replaced the marimba with electric bass and added saxophone and congas. Domingo Garcia Enriquez, also known as Tatico, was born in 1943 in Nagua and is considered to be the godfather of modern merengue típico. The changes he made to the genre gave the merengue a new flair. He was originally a member of the group Trio Reynoso, where his style of playing the accordion made him immediately loved. His playing was said to be described as intense. He used the electric bass and saxophone much more frequently than it had ever been used in the past. He brought it together in a way that harmonized perfectly with the accordion. He sped up the tempo of merengue and changed the way música típica was played. Tatico then took the genre to waiting public with his grand compositions and style. Even with his rough, untrained voice, he made it with his unique style and lyrics. He appeared on radio and television, thus making his compositions known to the country. Others started imitating his style of music and making cover songs of his music, thus making Tatico's music appear on most Típico musicians' playlists. There was virtually no competition for Tatico until the appearance of Bartolo Alvarado, known popularly as El Cieguito de Nagua.
Mamá como mecedora, ay que se van meciendo como mecedora, que se van meciendo mamá como mecedora. Tatico y la dan, allí en esta mira, Tatico y la dan, allí en esta mira. Amaneció en preso, hoy tira y para arriba. Amaneció en preso, hoy tira y para arriba.
Manuela Josefa Cabrera Taveras, also known as Fefita la Grande, was born in 1944 in San Jose. Her father, Eliseo Cabrera, was an accordionist himself. Fefa, short for Josefa, grew up surrounded by the sounds of her father's accordion. At age 7, after hearing one of Guandulito's recordings, Fefita made up her mind to learn to play the accordion and sing. When Fefita was 9 years old, she formed a band with her other schoolmates. Fefita's band played at local events, and she grew to be something of a celebrity in her small town. By the mid-1970s, Fefita was performing in larger events, and in 1976, her career took off when she toured with Rafael El Maestro Solano. Her partnership with Solano took her abroad, and they were the first Dominicans to perform Merengue Típico in Europe. Throughout her career, Fefita has garnered many awards and accolades. Fefita paved the way for countless other Dominican women as well, who dreamed of pursuing a career in music in an otherwise male-dominated scene.
Yo tengo un amigo, que yo no lo niego, este es Franklin Peña. no les salga chiflera.
The massive influx of Dominicans into New York City during the 1980s caused a shift not only in the popularity of merengue overseas, but also in the production of the genre back in the Dominican Republic. The lyrics utilize less slang and language specific to Dominican dialects of Spanish to be understood by non-Dominican listeners. A shift to even faster rhythms for merengue performers also occurred, sparking a debate amongst Dominicans on whether the changes occurring should be considered merengue or another genre. Many feared too much international influence would change the style for the worse, losing the roots that made merengue popular to begin with. During the 1990s, a new generation of musicians added a bass drum, played with a foot pedal by the guirero, and timbales, played by the tamborero. Agapito Pascual is credited with creating the new style termed merengue con mambo in 1987 with his recording La Vieja y su Pipa. Merengue con mambo refers to a merengue with a second section based on hard driving rhythms and riffs played by the accordion and saxophone together.
Nuevo, Esteban, el compadre. Dígale bien, yo me voy pa' Nueva York. Dígale bien, yo me voy pa' Nueva York. Si no es con mi pipa que yo mejor no voy. Si no es con mi pipa que yo mejor no voy. Dice la vieja, voy pa' Nueva York. Dice la vieja, voy pa' Nueva York. Si no es con mi pipa, mejor no voy. Si no es con mi pipa, mejor no voy.
This is a dominant style today that has been further explored by artists like Ricardo Gutiérrez, El Prodigio, and Geovanny Polanco.
Vámonos, Bolívar Núñez.
La tenía sin reservacionarme y me olvidó, hoy me pregunto por Maribel. La Morena Chávez, amiga mía. ¡Vámonos! Morena Chávez.
Artists like Krisspy and Aguakate have pushed genre boundaries even further with more mambo infusions with other rhythms like reggaeton, and many artists such as Fulanito have fused merengue-style accordion playing with rap music.
Si eso es tuyo, quiero preguntarte que si eso es tuyo. En el vecindario se escucha el murmullo. En el vecindario se escucha el murmullo. Que tu hermana tiene uno igual al tuyo. Que tu hermana tiene uno igual al tuyo. Pero que si eso es tuyo, yo quiero saber si eso es tuyo. Ay, déjamelo ver. Si eso es tuyo, yo quiero probar. Si eso es tuyo, y yo lo quiero tocar. Si eso es tuyo.
Perico Ripiao remains an intrinsic part of Dominican culture and history, and despite its many changes and evolution, it is regarded as a symbol of pride and tradition.
Me suena un pitico aquí en el cotao, me suena un grillito aquí en el cotao, y maripositas que vuelan de lado, y maripositas que vuelan de lado, y esto pinta rosa, estoy enamorado, a radionovela protagonizado.
Consigo muchas mujeres. Digo la de muy bien. Muchas mujeres.
Santo Domingo, queremos fiesta.
Estoy enamorando desde que llegué, pero él no me quiere. Yo no sé por qué, oye, pero él no me quiere. Yo no sé por qué, pero qué linda.
Tengo una penita,
Pero qué linda mamá.
tengo una penita.
Solo tú sabes con qué.
A mí se me quita,
Solo tú sabes con qué.
a mí se me quita. Sello récord, Típico.com.
Well, you guys, that concludes this video on the history of Perico Ripiao. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. As always, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and check out my Music of the Americas playlist to see the historical backgrounds of different genres of music. Alright guys, I'll catch you all in my next one. Bye!